the Earth forces fought valiantly against the Zaft and their coordinator forces, but to no avail. And so it was that they came up with the new mobile suit series, the GAT series, including the GAT-X105 Aile Strike Gundam. And here today on the GKaiser Age, we're going to be taking a look at the Bandai metal build Ail Strike Gundam figure that I recently got from the USA Gundam Store. So let's get started. GKaiser Age launching. Hello everybody again, and welcome to the GKaiser Age. My name is Lucian GKaiser, and today we're going to be taking a look at this awesome metal build Ail Strike Gundam figure that I recently got. As I said earlier, I got it from the USA Gundam Store. They were one of the few places that actually still had it in stock and at a very good price. You can also pick it up on the Big Bad Toy Store under pre-order. There's another pre-order that just recently started. It may still be up, it may not still be up at the time of me recording this, but I definitely recommend trying out the USA Gundam Store, especially since I'm here in Florida. They got it to me very quickly with very cheap shipping. But let's go ahead and take a closer look at this fantastic figure. Now, if you've seen any of my other reviews, I absolutely love the metal build series. I have the metal build Arbalest and the metal build Lavatane from Full Metal Panic, and those figures were fantastic, and this figure is definitely no exception in that quality. So as you can see, it actually has a nice metallic blue, a nice metallic red as well, and then it is a pearlescent white with some off-white coloring, so you get a nice color separation, as you can see there. Hopefully a little bit more light there. Go. But I absolutely love the way this figure is designed. As you can see, it has a lot of nice neat printing and on it. There we go, got that focus. And there's just a lot of that all over the figure. And a lot of great details just all around. A nice panel lining. Some very, very nice coloration on it. And the nice metallic parts, as you can see everywhere. And just a lot of mechanical detail. Even behind the V-fin, they have some mechanical detailing. And that is pretty fantastic. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the features. So we'll start with the back. Just right here, you have the thruster pod. It does tilt up and tilts down a little bit. As you can see, it does pull out, and that's part of the design to make room for the Ail Strike unit to plug in, and any other future units that they'll have. That'll be talking about that at the end of the video. You of course have the shoulder clamps, which will be used to lock down future weapon pods that I'm sure they'll be releasing, because there's plug-in points on both shoulders there on the inside, so that you can plug in weapons. And then unfortunately the cockpit does not open, but it does slide down to give you more room to bend the chest downwards. Now this figure has got some very tight joints still, even after me playing with it for about a week since I've had it. But it gives you a nice downward chest crunch. Go ahead and put that back into position. And then it just locks back into place, so I appreciate that. The front skirts are interesting. They are actually on not only a ball joint here, but also this is on its own little separate joint, so you get a little bit extra movement out of it. which is very cool. And speaking of movement, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the posability on this figure. So of course the head can look up that far, can look down that far. Now it is on a special double joint, so there's a ball joint at the base of the head where it connects with the neck piece, and then another ball joint at the bottom of the neck piece, so you can get a very nice range of movement for the head. And of course you want to be careful, the antenna is very sharp. And one of the cool things is, speaking of the antenna and all the other detailing on the figure, you do get a spare antenna and V-fin. So that way, if you happen to mess this one up, you always have a spare. Alright, and let's go ahead and move on. So at the shoulders, they do have a bending shoulder part there, so you can get a nice high raise on that shoulder. The arm, total 360 of course. You get a nice upwards bend, as you can see there. Now here's a cool part. This panel right here can be flipped open, and this back panel does not flip open, unfortunately. But because of that, you get a nice range of forward movement on the arm, so you can really get it elevated upwards, which is very cool. Get a little bit more lighting on that, just to make sure. So you get a lot of great movement there. And of course, you got the upper arm rotation 360, double bend at the elbow, so you get a very nice range there too. And that's another thing, all the joints on here are really firm. I have been playing with this figure like a lot, and the joints are still very firm. Now this is very cool. At the wrist area, you have that extra bend. Now you don't get, unfortunately, a bend with the hand. The hand is just on a peg, so you don't get any kind of flexibility with it to flex the hand in or out, but they give you several different hands to kind of mimic that, so that's good. Then of course, as you can see, plug-in point for a shield and future weapons, I'm sure, as well. But some excellent articulation. We've already shown the chest crunch. You do get a very tight waist movement, but not very much, unfortunately. That's a bit of a downside. Side skirts, of course, move out, and they do have the armor Schneider knives in there. I'll be showing those next in the weapons area. Again, these front skirts, great maneuverability there. And then of course the legs, which once again, extremely stiff joints, but I do not mind that, because it means I can pose this figure without any trouble. So you can kick up that far, and then you can go back with the back skirts move just a little bit. Now the back kick is a little bit limited by the figure's joint for the leg, because it is extremely tight. So you only get about that much of a bend. You can probably get a bit more, but I don't recommend it on the joint. And then of course you get outward side kick to about that high there. So you can get that, which is still pretty good, because you put them on the ground, you can still angle them to get a nice kick like that. You can do the char kick. Always important to be able to do the char kick with your mobile suit. You got the double bend at the leg. You can get kicked back that far, so that's really good. And then of course you got the usual moving knee joint system. exposing just a little bit of mechanical detail. Nothing really cool quality, but still. And then of course the feet. Now they only have a limited pivot, which is fine because you're probably more likely going to have this thing mostly on its display stand. And of course the usual ankle armor. Now here's another cool thing. So if you have this figure on the ground with the Ail Strike Backpack on, you can actually pull the heel out to make the foot coverage wider. So you actually have that extension here. So you can extend it, push it back in, whichever you prefer, to give yourself a little bit more of a larger foot base. Now on the back of the legs, another little gimmick. It's a little bit hard to do. You basically have to push this in and then get your finger kind of in there, and then you can pull these thrusters out. So you just basically push in the top and then pull the base of the thruster out. You can do that with both legs. You got that there. But I absolutely love this figure. It is fantastic looking, very posable. Alright, so now let's go ahead and take a look at the weapons and stuff it comes with. So let's go and start with the armor Schneider knives. Like I said, they are stored in the side skirts, just like in the show. And once again, a warning, these knives are actually extremely sharp and pointy. Like really sharp, like real knife kind of sharp points on it. So definitely be careful with them. But as you can see, fold it up, and then let's unfold it. You can see that really sharp tip right there, so you definitely want to be careful with these. And then of course it comes with the hands to hold the knives in. Now you want to be careful when putting the knives in the hands because you don't want to rub off the nice painting and everything on them. But there we go. And now got it in the knife holding hand. Now you get two sets of hands for holding the melee weapons. You get this set right here that has it at an angle. And then you get another hand. Put that in there. That has it holding more straight out. So you get a less than an angle, more of a just straight weapon holding. You can use that with both these and of course the beam sabers. Now storing the armor Schneider knives is a little bit tricky because they do not want to fit in there all too well. So it can be a bit difficult to get them back in there and get them to settle in, and that's kind of a disappointment. Oop. As you can see, the doors are only held on by just a slight clip. So you got to kind of line it up to where the knife tip is just to the very bottom. And there. And I got it in there pretty easy that time, but when I first got the figure, it took me a while to figure out just how to get those in there without messing up anything. Alright. So let's go ahead and take a look at the beam rifle, of course. And I love the detail on the beam rifle. The beam rifle has a lot of great detail on it as well. It's got two attachment points, so you've got a attachment point for the hips, because the hips actually have little pegs that you can pull out and you can peg it into that hole. And then the other attachment point, of course, is a little flip out peg for the back of the figure. So you can take the figure, and as you can see, there's this hole right here in the back. And you just attach that in, and it fits nice and firm and snug. I always leave the gun hand on, just so you know. It just makes it easier. It's like, I'm not going to use that gun hand for any other weapon because I don't have any other weapons right now for it. So I just leave it on there for whenever I want to switch to having him holding the gun. As you can see, it is a quite firm fit. Alright, and then the last thing that I want to show you is, of course, the handle. You can go side to the other side, but I love it. There's a lot of great detail on this beam rifle, so let us go ahead and put this down to the side. And the next thing we're going to show off, of course, is the shield. Once again, some really nice decals impressed on there, and of course you got the flip out handle, slides up and down, and you have a very nice and tight shield. That's one of the things that always annoys me about some figures with shields, is the connection part here is kind of loose, so the shield flops around unless you use the handle. But on this one, it's nice and tight, so you don't even need to really use the handle unless you want to for certain poses. Alright, and now the final big weapons part, the Ail Strike Backpack itself. And as you can see, the stand comes with a special stand to hold it on there. So let's go ahead and pull that off. We're going to take a look at it separate first from the figure, and then we'll take a look at the figure together with it. Once again, you got the beam sabers, a little flexibility on those, not a huge amount. You got these nicely detailed and well done wings. And of course thruster pods too. And those can flex out and move around. So you can angle them in different ways. The ailerons open up. So you get that nice big spread out. And then of course the wings on these hinges, so you can spread those out. Once again, really nice, great detail on markings on there. Some nice metallic paint apps on it. Now here's the cool part, the backpack can be flipped up into straight flight mode, or it can be flipped down for like a hover kind of effect. And it exposes these vents at the top when it does that, which is really, really cool. And then it flips closed like that. Here's another very cool thing. The exhaust, of course, has the fan details and everything in there. And these little parts right here can move up slightly and down slightly. Not a huge range of movement, but still very cool. I like that. So, yep, down. And then back up just a little bit. Alright. And of course we've got our nice die-cast peg-in point, which I very much appreciate. That's a good idea on Bandai's part. Now attaching this guy, pretty simple. Just take the thruster pod here, lock it down into the lower position, grab this guy, and it just slides right into place. Now you have to give it just a slight tug. Now if you want to push it into place, please use your thumb right here where the actual peg-in port for the stand is. And you'll feel it kind of just lock into place, and you'll feel it nice and snug on the figure, and it stays in there really well. we go. Oh, whoop. Extend those back feet out. And like I said, once you have the back feet extended and angle the legs right, he actually stands pretty well with the Ail Strike Backpack. But as always, I recommend having him stand with the actual display base itself, because he is pretty back heavy regardless of the foot adjustment. So now let's go ahead and take a look at him with all of his weapons, and of course take a closer look at the stand that it comes with. Alright, so this is the display stand that it comes with. A very cool display stand. As you can see, once again, a lot of great markings on there, a lot of great detail like the other metal build display stands. This part is used for when the Gundam is just standing by itself, so when you just have the Strike Gundam on the display base, this is what you use to hold it up. And then of course this one right here is to hold up the Ail Strike Backpack by itself behind the Strike Gundam. Now if you're not using either one of those, you pull that off, and then what you have on the figure base here is a special port that is used exclusively for when both of them are combined together. So let's go ahead and put the special adjustable stand. Now this is very cool. So it's got several adjustments on it, starting at the top for the peg where you're going to actually peg the figure in, and it locks with this little pin. So once you get it into the position you like, you just lock it with that pin. You get the front bar adjuster, so you can slide that up to get more of an angle for different poses. And then you've got an extension for the top part to extend that up. So very cool display base. I love it. And I honestly think, and I'm gonna try it, I think it might actually be able to hold up my perfect grade 00 riser. The only thing I'm worried about is this peg part. I don't know if that can really handle the weight of the 00 riser, but if it can handle the metal build weight, I'm pretty sure it should be able to handle the 00 riser, which is mostly just a bunch of plastic. Alright, so real quick, before we get to the end here, we are going to do just a quick size comparison. So here we have it next to my master grade Exia Avalanche. So as you can see, it's about the size of a master grade, which is really good. And then of course, one of my more recent metal build purchases, the metal build Lavate. Now I know of course the weapon systems and actual mecha in Full Metal Panic are actually smaller than Gundams, but as you can still see, it's a very good sized figure. So if you have the metal build or you have a master grade laying around, you can definitely see that you're getting a figure for a very good price at a very good size. Alright, so let's go ahead and wrap everything up, and that way you have a figure there. Alright, and I absolutely love this metal build figure. It is fantastic. I think you guys will enjoy it too if you're a fan of the Strike Gundam from Mobile Suit Gundam Seed, and of course you love the actual figure itself to have that on your shelf. Definitely pick up one of these guys. You can get it, like I said, at the USA Gundam Store. You can also get it at the Big Bad Toy Store as well. Pre-orders are up, still available the last time I checked. And of course, you get a lot of great accessories and everything that I'm going to show off in the next minute or two here. So if you guys really enjoy this, definitely pick this figure up from one of those places. And definitely grab it when you can, because the metal build series is only getting better. This one was just released, and like I said, there's actually going to be a Gun Barrel Striker add-on that is actually coming out that I already have pre-ordered from the Big Bad Toy Store. So definitely I recommend grabbing a copy of that too to go with it, because it's going to give you more add-on weapons and a lot more cool accessories, and I can't wait to review that alongside of course, it being attached to this figure and by itself too. So once again, I want to thank you for being here in the GKaiser Age with me here. My name is Lucien GKaiser. Definitely leave a comment and let me know what some of your favorite points from, of course, Gundam Seed were, along with some of your favorite fights where the Ail Strike was being used. And keep an eye out for, of course, all the other videos and content that I'll be doing here on my channel. As always, I love anime, gaming, and entertainment media, so we're going to be doing a bunch of that. Check out the links below for my Facebook page and my Twitter and my Twitch channel as well. So thank you again. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you again here in the GKaiser Age. Once again, my name is Lucien GKaiser, signing out until the next battle.